All right, we're live. We're recording. And today our show is Failures Lead to Success. This is New York's Divine Channel, Camille Conti, and you can have it all. In fact, you already do have it all. You have everything that you need. You have everything that you need in order to succeed. Now, the only thing is, you actually have to have patience to write your failure story on your way to your success story. If you think about the people that you know that are wildly successful at anything in life, they have had failures along their way. Now, by definition, success is continually working toward getting the goal, achieving where you want to be. And you're going to have failures, which are just things that show you, oh, that's not the right way to get you where you're going right now. Take a different path. That's all it is. It's showing you, oh, you need to tweak it a little bit. You might just need a real little tweak. You might need a bigger tweak. Maybe you even need an overhaul. Oftentimes we think we need an overhaul, but it's really only a little tweak. And you also might just only need to wait longer and have more patience because it's not exactly the divine timing yet. And that when it is the divine timing and everything does fall into place, you'll know why it had to happen now versus prior. And it'll make sense to you. Most of the time, I have found that it's like, oh, Eureka. And I'm actually grateful and thankful that it didn't happen sooner because I can see now why I wouldn't have even been ready for it. So when you're in the space of climbing up the hill to get where you want to be, whether it's personal health, whether it's your personal finances, it might be your personal well-being all the way around, body, mind, and spirit, where you just want to be comfortable in your skin and feel like you have enough energy to do what you want to do with your life. It also might be that you're doing a career change, or that you started a new business, or that you're taking your business to the next level, that you've already had a lot of successes. However, you're ready for a different way of doing things, a way that feels more soul aligned to you. You also might be working on finding your divine equal spouse, and you feel like you have found every single person you should not marry on your way to finding the one you want to marry. And so that feels like a failure because you're like, how did I meet all of these ridiculous people that are not right for me? Ridiculous meaning they're not a match. They're not a match for you. They're a match for someone else, but not for you. Right. And so you feel like a failure in your love life, or you feel like a failure in your business life, your financial life, or your physical body, mind, and spirit, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual life, where you don't think that you can go forward anymore and you've hit rock bottom and you want to give up. Okay. That is not a failure. That is actually a turning point. That is where you end up looking back and going, oh, OMG, I had to hit that spot in order for me to do A, B, and C to arrive where I am right now. I am so thankful. And this is actually something that's vital for you on your way to success. The other thing is, the worse the failures are on your way there, the better the success is. It's so sweet when you get there. It's so emotionally charging and uplifting. And what it does is that success that you've achieved will then give you the confidence that you can succeed at the other things that you are looking to work on creating in your life that you want to achieve. So I'm going to say something right now. All of you have succeeded at something in your life up to this point. There is no way that you are here on this TV show and just looking at every single part of your life as a failure. It's impossible, virtually impossible. So we need to build upon our successes as well as know that our failures are the stepping stones, or the actual stepping parts on the ladder so that you can climb up each step of the ladder to get to the top. So let's look at some of your successes you've already had. Think about it right now. If you're listening at home and you're able to close your eyes right now, go ahead and just close your eyes and think of the biggest success you've ever had in your life up to this point. The thing that you might have a few of them to pick from, but the thing that you are most successful at right now in your life, or the thing that you have succeeded at that really made you feel proud of yourself, happy with yourself. Think of that now. And when you've got that in your mind, go ahead and remember for a minute now what you went through to get that success. So I know some of you, if you're remembering one of your big successes you've already had in your life, some of you are remembering that it took a lot of work. Maybe you're thinking of the birth of your child and how healthy your child is right now, or how much they've overcome and you've helped them to get to the point that they're at right now. Maybe you're thinking about the college degree that you succeeded at and how much work it took for you to do that. Maybe you're thinking about the position that you have at your job and how many failures it took for you to arrive at that position. You could possibly even be thinking about how your success is that you're here today because you didn't choose to leave and exit, and you overcame the desire to just flee the scene and not be here anymore because it's been tough for you and you've gone through some tough years. Well, that is a success. That is. You have to think about it that way. If you're not looking at it as that you have succeeded, then look again. Okay, so now when you pull up that success that you are most able to say, yes, that was a success, look at how many failures you had along your way to get there. How many things did not go right? I mean, if I just think about my college degree, that was way back. And I feel like I have several things that I could talk about. And I know you do too. So I want you to wrap your head around that. Because if you're not having a good day today, I want you to just allow yourself to gently shift to a place where you can allow yourself to have a better day today and a good day, and start to let yourself give yourself permission to get out of jail today. If you've been holding yourself in jail, punishing yourself because you feel like a failure, I want you to get yourself out of jail. In fact, I'm going to hand you the key right now. And the key is love. Love yourself. So take the key from me right now and put it in your heart. All right. Some of you who are on video, I should see you right now going like this and putting it in your heart right now. Okay. That's the key to success, is loving yourself through the failures. It's easy to love yourself when you're succeeding. I mean, that's when you're like, woohoo, having a great day. And you're like driving down the road going, yep, I did it. I made it. And those days are the ones where you don't have to love yourself through it because it feels great. Well, the real work is when you're not feeling great, when things aren't going your way. That's the work to success. And I just want you to know that if you feel like you're failing right now, you're doing the work for success. And I mean, who's asking for a free pass? I don't think most of the people that I've met have asked for a free pass to success. They've just asked that the work that they're doing will pay off and give them the achievement that they're looking for, right? I think we can all agree on that we're willing to pay the price for success. We just want to know that when we pay the price, we get it. We get what we want. We get what we're working toward achieving. And so I have found in life that because our failures lead us to success, what you really have to recognize is things that are really worth achieving, that are really worth accomplishing and succeeding at, they can oftentimes cost us 3 times more time, energy, and money than we ever imagined. And so that is the price for success. The price for success is to fail your way there. And the people who don't succeed is because they quit failing and they just quit. They don't try anymore. They pack it up and say, I've failed. It doesn't work. It didn't work. My plan didn't work. Well, did you know the only way you can fail is if, and ultimately never get there to success and never let your failures be the stepping stones to your success? The only way that that can happen, that your failures do not lead you to success, is if you quit. If you don't quit, your failures will lead you to success. You might have to have more of them than you wanted. Other times you'll have less of them. You'll be like, oh, that was easy. Because once you start getting the hang of it, you won't get hung up on the failures. The only reason why we prolong our success and prolong our achievements is because we have too many pity parties for ourselves. And some of us, and I can laugh because I've had one or two myself. I'm joking. I've had many myself along my journey. Our pity parties last too long. We let ourselves have a pity party for months and months and months, and sometimes years and years. And finally, one day, something snaps us out of our pity party, and we decide to keep going and stop just crying about it and feeling sorry for ourselves and being mad at the world and mad at ourselves and hating ourselves. These are all pity party things that, instead of just going, okay, a failure, I found another failure. Okay, next. You can actually run up the ladder if you're willing to just get through one failure after another without letting it throw you into a tizzy. Okay. So you have to have that self-discipline to actually understand that success is a series of failures when you never quit and keep going and you finally get there. That's what it is. There's the recipe. We don't even need to be good at math to know that formula. Those of you who do not love math, you do not need any math to figure out the calculations and the recipe to success. All it is keep failing, keep trying, keep changing up the way you're doing things. Don't go into a pity party for too long. If you have one, give yourself a time limit. All right, I'm going to let myself feel bad for the half of the day until 12 noon. So at 12 noon, I'm going to get myself back on track, but I'm going to honor my feelings of being mad, frustrated, angry, or pity party feelings of, oh, I'm such a failure. Like that. Okay. And we make ourselves sick doing that. Did you know we can actually make ourselves physically sick? You have too many pity parties and you will be physically sick. You will actually, if it goes on long enough, you'll end up with medical conditions. By the way, you can heal all those too. So then you're like, okay, now I caused myself to be sick and have medical stuff. So now I got to heal that too on my way to success. That's just another failure on the ladder up to success. So, all right, fine. Now we have to figure out how to heal that. I've had to do that as well. So it's like, great. Now I gave myself a bunch of stuff that I didn't have before I had my big pity party and hated myself because it took too long. All it is it's a patience thing. If you're good at having patience, you will easily get there and smoothly get there. If you are impatient, you will have a rough time of it because you will be like every day having a little stamping your feet, having a temper tantrum. It's an adult temper tantrum. That's when we decide to go into woman baby mode and we're just being a baby about it. And it's okay. We can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of the journey to success. For some people, that's what their failure looks like. And then finally, you just have to get yourself out of it. And sometimes what happens when we get ourselves out of it, is sadly to say, is we see somebody else way worse than us. And we're like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus, that I do not have to have that going on in my life. And that stamps us out like, come on, it's not that bad. Get with the program. Okay. If you've made some severe mistakes where the failures feel and are severe, all right, well, hey, it's the price you're going to have to pay for success. Obviously, you needed to learn something. If you didn't need to learn it, you wouldn't have made the mistake and caused the failure to yourself. And if you didn't need to learn it, then it wouldn't have been a part of your failure story to success, because basically a success story is a series of failure stories that end up as a success. So if you read anybody's biography about how they got where they are right now, they will tell you all the things that they went through and all the things that didn't work on their way to getting stuff that they wanted out of their life. So be patient, love yourself through it. Don't let your pity parties last too long. Fix your mistakes. If they have to take a long time to fix, because you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me a while. Here I am with a pile of debt this big, and it might be a very high number in your opinion, low to somebody else who has a debt 10 times higher, but high to you, right? So now you're like, great, I got to pay all this. Plus, I still have to figure out how to get healthy, because I had pulled myself down too long with my impatience and my inability to be patient. Well, first of all, there is a price to pay for success. And if you look around you on this planet where you are living, there are plenty of people that are not successful at what you are trying to be successful at. So it's not something that's just handed to you. And if it was handed to you, that would not be a success. Come on now. How do you call that a success if it was just handed to you? The only things that are a success are something that you had to overcome, learn, change, tweak, work at. You had to invest your time, you had to invest your energy, and you had to invest your money to get there. Okay. Otherwise, if you didn't have to do that, it isn't a success. Nobody's looking at somebody who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, a trust fund baby who has all kinds of money. Before they're even born, their bank account is already, $100 million, right? There are some people that live on this planet that have that scenario. And I'm sure that's part of their soul contract. It's part of their soul lesson, and it's part of their soul mission. They need it. They need it to learn their soul lessons. They need it to accomplish their soul missions. They chose it. And there is a lot of things that come with having that too. That, they have things that they have to deal with in life. They don't know who their real friends are. They don't know who really truly wants to be in their life for just them as a human and not their money. So there's pros and cons to every scenario in life, right? And so the person who just is born and has $100 million in their bank account, oftentimes they have a struggle of trying to find their purpose. They are not sure. They're not sure why they're here, what they're supposed to do. They don't feel needed. They don't feel important. In fact, I have some clients that are going through that right now. They don't, money is not a thing for them. They don't have to work. They don't have to worry about it. And they're clueless and lost because they're like, what am I here for? Nobody, I don't know who my real friends are. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have to do anything. And it's a very isolating feeling for some people. The people who haven't figured out, okay, here's why I'm here. Here's why I have this money. Here's what I'm going to do with it. All right, let's get on with it. And they're going to have failures along their way to success too. Just because they have the money they need doesn't mean that they have everything they need. It takes a lot of different things in life to succeed at various different goals. And first of all, money cannot buy happiness. Don't forget that. And it certainly can't buy the perfect spouse. You can't just go buy the perfect wife or buy the perfect husband. So remember, it's going to take a lot of factors to get what you want in life. So be willing to just pay the price for success. Stop crying about it, that it's expensive. It is expensive. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money to get where you want. Well, I laugh when people look at me and they go, oh, Camille, you're so successful. It must be so nice. I'm like, do you freaking know what it took for me to get where I'm at right now? I have been a dog on a bone. I have not given up. There have been days I've given up, weeks and even months. There have been months where I'm just like, forget it. I can't take it. So I do understand the real struggle. Then I realized that I was slowing myself down. I'm like, all right, next time you have a give up time, let's not make it 3 months. Let's just make it 3 hours, because then I won't slow myself down so much and cause myself so much unnecessary turmoil. Because if you quit for too long, it makes it really hard to get going again. And then you've usually caused a whole bunch of other problems to yourself. And then you have to fix all those problems too on your way to success. And there's no cutting corners. If you try to cut corners to hurry up and get there quickly, you're only going to sabotage your success, because the success, when you do achieve it, it's going to be well earned, and you will have learned the lessons you needed to learn in order to have the success, maintain it, and keep it, and not lose it. Because if we haven't learned everything we need to learn, we can get what we've been working toward and then end up losing it. How many people have won the lottery, millions of dollars, and they end up broke? In fact, they end up in a worse financial position in a few years than they were in before they won the lottery. They were actually financially doing better before they won the lottery than after 2 years later of having millions, but not knowing how to manage it. They didn't know how to manage it. They didn't have the people in place, the team in place, the people who were going to be their financial advisors, maybe the life coach that was going to help talk some sense into them when they were about to make a move that wasn't going to be good for them. Maybe they trusted the wrong people and let somebody live with them, didn't wait to get married. And that person just did that to steal all their money. And then they succeeded at it because they were more crafty at stealing money than the other person was at keeping their money. Right. And so life is about learning stuff in order to be able to have what you want. And you have to be okay with that process. And when you're able to just be like, okay, I know that when I ultimately succeed, and keep working at it, obviously, keep working. Don't let things slow you down for too long. Be like, oh, okay, big mistake. Great. Got to fix that mess, clean that one up. All right. Put that on the to-do list. Now I'm fixing the mess from the mistake I made, the failure I caused because I didn't know how to do this, that, or that. And you just add it to the to-do list as you're on your way to succeed. You have to be okay I'm going like this because to me, it feels like, all right, climbing. It's energy. It takes energy to succeed. You don't just fall upon success. You're not just like, all right, I'm there. I've decided that I'm going to be highly successful, world known at this. And then tomorrow you are. No. Okay. And first of all, who wants to hear anything you have to say? If you stand on stage someday and you go, guess what? I decided to own my own business. I set my manifestations and I went abracadabra, 1, 2, 3, boom, poof. And I was there 2 days later. Okay. First of all, the people sitting in their seat they'd be like, I don't relate. I cannot relate to you. I have never wiggled my nose and poof, 2 days later, I had this huge jump of success in my life that I hadn't worked toward for a long time. So they're not going to relate. If people can't relate to you, eventually they don't want to listen to you anymore because you have nothing to tell them that they can feel like they get you. Okay. So that is why when I'm sharing different stories, I will put a little bit of my own story in there and let you know something that I personally went through, because most people relate to that, because I do have a series of failures to the successes I currently have right now. Now I have a whole bunch of other things I'm working on right now that I'm currently failing my way to success on those. So, you hear people tell you, oh, you're so successful at this or that or the other thing. But usually the person you're telling that to, in their mind, they're going, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm working on the bigger things right now. But they don't usually say that because they've figured it out that It's going to take time. If you tell people too early what you're working on, I have found that they make fun of you and talk about you behind your back. I've had that happen. Then when I wasn't strong enough, I didn't have a tough enough skin, I actually let it affect me. And then I felt terrible because they were talking bad about me and making fun of me. And so then I had to get over that and go, oh my God, Camille, everybody can't like you and everybody can't believe in you, especially when you have no proof. Because when you talk about it and there's no proof that it's going to happen, some people who don't understand the journey of success, that you fail your way to success, those people that don't understand it could potentially be going, oh yeah, all right, good luck with that, lady. In the meantime, you're flying your way there. And then you end up there and you're like, hello, I'm here. And then by that point, those people aren't even watching anymore. They're off bothering somebody else, calling them names and bullying and teasing them. So in the meantime, you're like, wow, I wish they would have seen that I actually achieved that goal they were teasing me about 2 years ago. So I've learned, you don't have to tell everybody what you're going to do. Just let them watch what you're doing. All of a sudden you pop up somewhere and they're like, oh, how'd you do that? Oh my God. It's like, do you have any idea how long I've been working toward this? I remember one of the goals that I achieved many, many years ago, back 10 years ago. It was actually the goal that I'm talking about right now. They're asking me to share that with you. And so I will. I had said to one of my newer friends that, I was going to be selling my skincare and cosmetics on the shopping channel on television. And then it didn't happen in 3 months because I never told them a time. I didn't say it's going to happen next month or next year. I just knew I was going to do that. And I was working toward it. I was climbing the ladder, working toward it. And then that person decided to tease me, laugh at me, make fun of me. So of course they weren't my friend anymore. And I realized they never were my friend. Meanwhile, I did arrive there 2 years later and they probably weren't watching anymore, although it was in the country they lived in, because they did not live in the United States and they lived in Canada, and I was on the shopping channel in Canada. So there was a part of me just hoping that they were watching me on TV after bullying me 2 years prior. And you know what? That's a human feeling. Like, it doesn't feel good to have people tell you and that you're not going to achieve your goals and that they're going to laugh at you. But I do remember when I was in the green room and I was hanging out with a lot of very famous people, incredibly famous people, Joan Rivers and a whole bunch of others like her at her level of success and fame. And I had somebody in the green room, somebody who wasn't at that level of success, probably a newer person like me. And they said, oh, did you ever think you were going to sell out? Because I had sold out all my stuff, which was a huge deal. Like, everybody's all cheering for you in the back room and they've got refreshments and giving each other hugs because we're cheering each other on. And I remember somebody going, did you ever think that you were going to sell out your products on the shopping channel? And I said, yes, I just didn't know how long it was going to take me to even get here. But I finally did. So usually, people are looking at me like all surprised and they're thinking I'm going to be surprised. I wasn't surprised. Do you know how many failures I had on my way to get to that goal that I had to achieve? And thank God I had achieved that, because I had a ton of business coming in and still do, because of that time frame that allowed me to be a stay-at-home mom and run around to every doctor I could find to get my kid healthy and didn't have to work any at all, barely at all, while it was just funneling in because of that marketing. And how I didn't even know that that would be the divine timing, that had to happen so that I could take 10 years to focus on raising my family, getting everybody healthy, and then be able to reemerge 10 years later and start building my business again, which I did a few years ago, probably 2.5, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I decided to reemerge and start building again. In the meantime, I've always had my business, but sometimes you're able to go on autopilot if you've done some things that allow you to have enough passive income, right? And so with the passive income, I was able to do some incredible things with that. So then I got very good at setting up passive income so that you could really be free to do a lot of the things that you want to succeed at in life and be able to create health and wellness. So one of the things I was able to do was focus on my own health and wellness and not have to work 40 hours a week at a job that I hated or at a business that I created that I didn't like. Because some people have their own business, but they don't like what they created. They don't like the business that they are currently running and they want to change it. They want it to be more soul aligned. They want it to feel right for them. And so that's what we do. We get in there and we go, all right, well, so you're going to consider your business a failure. That's fine. It's a failure because it's not what you want. So now let's work to make it what you want. One more rung on the ladder of failure to success. That's all it is. And so having a really good attitude about that. And then you're able to shift into the understanding of failures lead yourself to success. All right, I'm succeeding. Woohoo! I'm failing my way there. We need a totally different attitude if we don't have that right now. All right, so now I am going to